A and B are now settled. Group A, Norway, top of the group. Top of the group, Norway, 3 wins, 9 points. Not pretty, but they did it. Switzerland left it very late, second half stoppage time to draw it, ultimately advancing on goal difference over Finland, which I know we're all of our heartstrings are pulled with Switzerland. And then Group B, Spain through 3 matches have 13 goals from 9 different goal scorers. You get a goal, you get a goal, you get a goal. And for the first time, they went down in this tournament, but leveled it 4 minutes later. I mean, we all kind of expected that to happen. And next, they take on Switzerland. Looking at how Italy played Spain today, do you think that that's the blueprint of how teams are going to look to play Spain the rest of the tournament? If you're Switzerland, Lori, I'll ask you, because you were on call today. You crushed it. We love hearing you. You're here, you're there, you're everywhere. You're here now. How good did Italy's tactics affect Spain? Do you think that that's the blueprint moving forward for teams?
That's a tough question because I think there's aspects of that. And obviously I was on the call, so we do a lot of research. We watch games back and you start to pick out some of the nuances of the way that Italy plays. And there's not a lot of teams that can play like Italy. They're drawing from like Conte, one of the most legendary coaches from Italy, in the way that they're setting up their tactics in the attack. And so they're using some of that obviously to their advantage against Spain in the way that they can play, which is like the first look is out wide. Today it was a bit in behind because they knew they could potentially expose Spain that way. But once they went out wide, then yes, it's always typically diagonal balls or early balls in behind. So there's some aspects, I think, especially in the way that they approach, like when they can high press and when they can sit back. I think you're going to have to do that. I actually think this is interesting for Switzerland because they have set up a similar, like in a 5-3-2 or a 3-5-2, however you want to describe it, but depending on what side of the ball they're on. But Switzerland, the one thing that I think that they have to look for in this game is obviously be very diligent defensively, because they're going to make you work Spain. But in transition is where they have been their best, and that's when they look most dangerous, and that's also where Spain has been the most vulnerable, is balls in behind, set pieces. And I think there is an opportunity, if Switzerland's going to at least try to get a goal, that's where it's going to be, right? But it's going to start with them having to be very, very diligent and smart defensively. So to answer your question more specifically, yes, I do feel like teams can use this blueprint, but they're really going to have to pick and choose their times because they don't have the same weapons tactics that Italy has, and those are very nuanced, but there's aspects to it.
McCall, what do you think? Obviously this Switzerland team has a lot of younger players than this Italian team, but how much of an asset do you think it is to be almost a little bit more audacious when you're younger? You kind of have the naivete of going into Spain where you're like, okay, this is our game plan, bet. Do you think Switzerland have more of a chance going against them with that kind of facet in mind?
I mean, it's for sure the nothing to lose mentality, right? They're just going to go out there, and they saw Italy. Italy did not play afraid today. They went for it, and they even in their attack were stretched at times, and they were down to take the risk to be vulnerable. And they got a goal awarded for it. But set pieces for me is where Spain is really, really weak. But Switzerland's got to get the ball high enough to up the field to earn those free kicks in those dangerous serving areas, or it's not going to really work for them. So I think that's the areas, like in those central wide channel areas, deliveries, Spain really suffered. There was almost 2 goals today from Italy deliveries in that space. So if you can get more there, Switzerland will have a chance. But again, the chess pieces are different than what Italy has, so they'll have to put their best foot forward with what they have.
Yeah, I'm looking at this, especially I think the first 15 minutes from Italy, I was so impressed with how they were finding balls, just very direct over the top. There was a lot of miscommunication. To me, the part where on the field where Spain has the most weak chemistry is the back line to the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
It looks like everybody was almost playing together for like, it'd been the first few months, but they hadn't faced this yet. And everybody was kind of shocked of how to handle it. So if I'm a Rudler or a really young player coming into this and I'm looking to go against Spain, I'm thinking, let's just come out hard and go over the top immediately and make them have to respect us. Do you guys also think that that's where the game's won and lost? Like the Swiss have to be Loctite going forward, have to make the right decisions, and Spain, that's their weakest point.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, sorry, go ahead, McCall, please.
No, I was just gonna say, well, let's be honest, Spain wants the ball on the floor. The aerial game is not their strength. So if you want to pop balls over the top, put balls in the air, that's where they're going to make mistakes, and that's where they don't want it.
Yeah. I also think they'll change. I think it'll be Olga Carmona on the left side again. They'll go back to their starting back four. And Carmona will get high on the left side. So they'll have like essentially 3 center backs, because it's like, modern day where most people just play a hybrid back 3 or whatever, especially when they attack. Yeah. So it will be, if they line up the same way, Switzerland, Reutler will come out of the midfield and look to over, and Benet, who's typically been like kind of the wing back for Switzerland on that right-hand side. But my only thing about this Switzerland team, goodness, because I love them. I love their, like, the host nation has gotten behind them. They have so many young players that just look like they're having fun. Like, this team just has like a pizzazz about them that like draws you in. But sometimes with that, as young players, you don't realize, or it's not drilled into you that, like, listen, you get one chance, it has to find the back of the net. Yeah. And there's been some times where they haven't put teams away, and it got them in against Norway because they didn't put away their chances, and then Norway comes back and wins that first game. So I feel like that has to be drilled in from them, from PS Unage, that be like, defensively get it right, but then we get our chances. It's not about, we cannot waste opportunities.
Almost like a too casual approach, because they don't know the weight of what it means.
Or misplaced passes, there's just some things.
That's the beauty of youth.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, Lori, we know how chill Pia is. Like, she's not
outwardly, inside she's freaking out.
Well, looking at this match, we've all fallen in love with the Swiss. As much as I want them to advance, I don't think they will, but I want them to put up such a good fight against Spain, because I feel that this program this federation has grown so much throughout the tournament, and they're going to be a team. They're already a team to fear moving forward, but especially if they can challenge Spain in this. How can you last 90 minutes against Spain and lock all of those areas down? So predictions. I know we all hate them, but we got to do them. Predictions of the Spain versus Switzerland match. Lori, let's go to you first.
Goodness, I kind of hate to say it, but I think it might be like 3-0.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Not one. They're not going to get one.
They might get one, but I think it's going to be tough. I just think it's going to be tough. I think, it's emotionally. Okay, here's the interesting aspect about this too, is how much time these teams have. It's not played till next Friday. Switzerland played yesterday. Yeah. They have over a week. Spain exactly a week for preparation. That is strange in a tournament. Whereas the other side of the same bracket is playing Wednesday, so it's 2 days less. So I think how teams handle that. But I also think there's an aspect of your fans getting behind you and how exciting that is. But then also, as a young team, really managing that, because you can get caught up in that for the next week and you could be exhausted after the first 15 minutes. And so to me, from tournament play in these situations, hide yourself away, try to shut out any noise, like watch your television, watch your shows, right? And like, don't move around, don't mess around.
Advice from Lori Lindsey, just chill out.
Yeah.
Don't go outside, chill out.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's the truth, because obviously Switzerland has way less depth, right? So now we're getting to the part of the tournament where these same players have been putting on a lot of minutes underneath their legs, whereas Spain has a little bit more of that luxury to rotate players like we saw today, but Switzerland doesn't have that. So they're going to have to put their best foot forward with the players that have already been putting a lot of minutes in. And again, that 12th man is going to be loud and roaring, and they're going to be hyped, and it's going to be like an emotional dump, and they've got to keep managing that.
Yeah. The last thing I'll say about that too is Spain, there's something to play for, right? This is the first team that could go back-to-back World Cup to Euros since Germany's done it. And then also they have championship experience. We talked a little bit about that with the England, and them understanding like a rhythm of a tournament to win. And so that's always going to be in favor of a team that's been able to do that. And that will be a big difference, I feel like, in this game between Spain and Switzerland.
I have more faith in Switzerland. I think they're going to win. No, I think that watching that game against Italy, I'm like, great, let's get set pieces, let's get end line and transition, and let's sit low. We're a talented squad. We're young. We got all these people here. The traffic lights look like us.
Do you think they're going to score one?
I hope so. Listen, I'm for Dee's prediction. I love it. I'm
going to say
too.
3-2. Yeah, I want some goals. Yeah, I know. I'm a little delusional, but it's fun.
No, we love that
fun.
from
Is
you.
it right?
No,
Probably
we do like
not.
it.
Well, let's jump over to the other side of the quarterfinal. We've got Norway versus Italy. Okay, this is the more, I think, up in the air matchup to me. Norway topped the group, 3 wins, perfect record. Not convincing play, in my opinion. I still don't think we've seen a clean enough performance from them, a team performance from them. I think they have incredible goal scorers, incredible individual talent. I'm not sold against a team like Italy, who I think, this match to me proved that this is a team that is growing throughout this tournament. So looking at this, do you think that Norway have it in them to topple Italy and get to the semifinals? McCall.
Norway, to me, looks discombobulated and disjointed. It looks like they have a whole bunch of players that some play in Barcelona, some play in Spain, some play in England, because they do.
Styles.
Like their players look so disjointed that they're playing with clubs from different countries with different styles, and they can't get on the same page because, as you mentioned before earlier in the week, Dee, their roster is strong. They have experienced players, but they just are not putting out good performances. So for me, Italy all day on this. I love their grit. I love that they look united. I love that they have a focus and a purpose when they step out onto the pitch every single time. I think they have the edge in this game.
I'm mad at Norway. What are those performances? Those are not good. Look at their team on paper. It makes no sense. And everybody's playing at the same pace. It is like pragmatic and monotonous. I'm like, get it together. I'm Italy all the way too. I think Italy is going to overrun them in the midfield. I don't think Egan and Bo Reese are going to stand a chance. And even though I like those 2 players a ton, but I also think the weakness for this Norway team is they're not very pacey on the back line. And this Italian team's committed to transition moments. And so the way that Norway's played and defending and the way that Italy's defended, I just think that they're going to have opportunities, Norway, but I think I'm giving it in favor of Italy. Are we doing predictions or?
Sure.
Well, Lori, jump ahead. Give us your predictions. I've got more questions, but give us your predictions.
No, let's ask questions and let me think about it a little bit more. Keep asking questions.
Well, I'm looking at the chat. The chat's blowing up. I love this. Usa, love that. Said, you know what? After today, I'm going with Italy. Norway has been a little underwhelming for the players they have. I completely agree. They have their moments of flashiness. Yes, they're great on set pieces. You have Frida Monum come in and putting goals away like we see her with club, which I absolutely love. But I think we all love more of the passion football story, and that's what we see more from Italy. Like there's truly heart. Yeah, and I think that's what's more convincing to me. But even looking at, okay, Norway scored 4 goals in the last match. They've scored 2 in the other. Italy have only scored or averaging 1 goal a game. Is that enough? Is that enough? Because I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, I think Norway will score. I don't think Italy are the most in-depth, heavy defense. I think they have their moments where I'm like, what the hell is going on? And Norway has really good forwards that can take advantage of that. Can Italy put enough away to topple Norway? I don't know if I'm convinced. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Well, I think defensively, Italy's been outstanding. They limited Spain to 1 shot on goal, which actually happened to be the goal in the first half. But then also the second goal was also a goal, or the second shot on frame was also a goal. So, okay, credit to Spain in that regard. But throughout this tournament, and even leading up to it, they've been really, really solid defensively. So I don't think that's going to change. And actually, I'd be curious just about the frustration level from Norway in that because I'm like wanting to see a little bit more pizzazz from them. Like they're having fun, but everything looks a little bit labored. And this isn't unusual. I mean, they weren't great in the Women's World Cup in 2023, and then dating back to 2022, they imploded against England. And so this has been a reoccurring pattern for them. I thought this year was going to be maybe a Norway team that we're going to see come to life again, like we used to see in the 90s. However, the talent they have, I agree with you. that this team should be scoring a lot of goals, but I do think Italy has enough to keep them at bay. But yeah, I think Italy's going to score, even though it's not like the wildest XG that they have, or they're putting up a ton of numbers. I think Italy's going to score, and I think they have enough to really limit Norway, regardless of the talent they have, unless all of a sudden we see a shift in like momentum for Norway. But wait, it's been 3 games. We haven't seen it.
I'm just thinking, I mean, what you mentioned just earlier, Lori, that clinicalness is so key as you grow into a tournament and then you get into like single knockout. Like you said, Spain had 1 chance on goal and it was a goal. Yeah. And when you get into the quarterfinal, that's the difference, right? Your execution. So I think Norway needs a lot of chances to score goals, whereas I feel like Italy is that kind of team that is growing into the tournament and getting better and better with each match.
Good take.
That is a very good take. And hey, XG doesn't account for passion. XG doesn't account for a lot. XG never really tells the story of the game.
And also confidence, right? Yeah, just confidence, real confidence and belief in what you're doing. And as good as Norway is, it does feel like, I mean, everybody's working hard. Everyone's doing what they need to be doing, but there does look like there's like a lack of like real belief, right? Yeah, exactly. At that level, 100%.
Yeah. And I think Hegerberg's penalty kind of speaks to that.
Yeah.
When I saw her go up to her penalty, I was like, oh, I feel like this is not going in.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the tone that they've had throughout this. Honestly, though, let's get to predictions. Lori, I know you were jumping the gun. You want to tell us what you think. I'll go first, though. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I do think Norway's going to go through. I think it'll be 2-1. I think they'll create enough chances. And I'm not convinced that Italy can score more than that right now. I would love to be surprised. Elena Lenari is my girl. We played together in France, but I need more in the attack from them to be convinced. I feel like Norway just on paper has it, but I know I'm going to be that was the L take as I'm being told in the chat. So what do you guys think?
What about you, Lori?
Well, I love Lenari's your girl, because I love Lenari. I think her and Salva have been great as 2 of those 3 center backs. I'm actually going to flip that. I'm going to say 2-1 Italy in extra time.
You and I are vibing. Oh, I wasn't going to say extra time, but I had 2-1 on my brain, Italy the whole time.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it might be 1-1 and then extra time 2-1.
Wow.
Let's remember these predictions.
Yeah, I know. Producer Mark, write these down.
We were supposed to be, but I think they're actually trying to see exactly what the matchups are. So we were supposed to be on these 2 that we were talking about, but now it's changed a little bit. So we'll actually see. We'll know on Sunday.
Okay. Well, of course, I had the L take. The chat agreed with you guys. The poll that producer Mark put in the chat, 58% of you agreed Italy are going to get the dub and 42% Norway. But I like that this was it's more up in the air. I think it's going to be really who brings more passion to the match, because both of these teams are good, but it's just on the day who's going to show up and show out.